This is my new, to me, BMW M4 comp. Now, if you didn't know, I've had a few cars in my day. I've had 3 Corvettes, I had an air-cooled 911, I had the BMW Z3M, and I decided that my son is now over 3 years old. He needs to come with me. Dude was losing his mind when I left my house without him. I really did not like the thought of not including him. I grew up in the car culture, motorsports, and I want him doing the same thing. He loves it. He shows enthusiasm for it. So now we have a car with not just a back seat, but a full-size back seat. See, the seats actually has the cloth inlays, which I really like. It adds a lot of character to the car, and it's a manual, so it's just a lot of fun to drive. It's really engaging. But that's enough of that for today's video. We are going to do the crank bolt capture, which is in this bubble wrap package right here. And I'm going to show you how I believe or hope an easy install should go. So let's get this car in the lift and get started. And let's get her in the air. But before we're in the air, let's actually pop the hood, because my idea is doing everything from the bottom, but it would help to have some extra light. Alright, first order of business is going to be removing this front skid plate here, and then your actual aluminum skid plate, and that way it gives us access to see everything underneath this car. It looks like a bunch of 8mm and probably 12 or 13. I have a handful of them, but not bad. And then we also have some more 8mm back here. So a handful of nuts and bolts, but so far pretty straightforward. Can at least see the front pulley right here, but the front side that we actually need to get to is right there. See if maybe this shroud could be removed, move some of these hoses, not disconnect anything, just move it to where we can at least get our hands in there. So we got our 2 Torx 25 taken out from here and here, and now thank God this just can pull away. And my idea is to disconnect this hose from the frame, zip tie it away, and now look, we can actually see the front of our pulley. So I think we're gonna be okay. And that was pretty easy. Pop this off, and now I'm not even gonna zip tie it because I want to be able to maneuver it wherever I want. But now this pulley is fully accessible from under the car. So just to make sure that bolt is indeed extremely tight, got a 22mm on a breaker bar, and I just gave it a good heave while old Big Daddy Ed put a big flathead screwdriver right here on the flywheel and held it against the bell housing. That way you can lock the motor and actually get a good bump with this breaker bar. Of course, the torque spec on this thing is insane. I think it's like a 150 plus 270 degrees is a stretch bolt, so very, very, very tight. But before you put your capture on, it would be terrible to put the capture on and the bolt have a little bit of give and be loose. So that's what I did. You can do what you want, but I think it might be a good idea. So now it's time to take your 8mm, and of course I burnt myself last week and I'm just rubbing it on the frame rail. But anyway, take your 8mm, you're gonna need a small extension. Just for a reference, I will put my deep socket 8mm next to it. That is the length that you're gonna need. This is too short. This is the perfect length. And I'll try to do it one-handed, but now you can just squeeze your ratchet right up here and start removing those 8mm bolts. Now they are that star head. If you have that, great. But these only have like maybe 20-25 foot-pounds. I mean, I'm breaking them loose pretty easy. Okay, all 8 of the crank hub bolts are out. Again, very, very easy to access. I have big hands and it was still no problem. The crank bolt capture is billet aluminum. It's built very well. It comes with 3 pieces of paper in this bag, but none of them are instructions, not even a torque spec. The instructions I can see. It's kind of self-explanatory. You get to there any way you can. But I will say some torque specs would be nice. These are grade 12.9 bolts, Allen bolts, very, very strong. And you torque these down to 25 foot-pounds, and that is off of their website for the actual the crank hub they build. When you put the balancer on their instructions, it says 25 foot-pounds, same exact concept. So I'm confident in that torque spec. Also, thread locker, you need it. This is high temp, high strength. Highly recommend it, and at 200 degrees it will cure in 1 hour. So good old smartphone, take a little video here. Let's see what we got.
That's still a good hose, so
Okay.
go ahead and pull it off.
Might have to adjust it one more time. Okay, so I've rotated it, and now I believe everything is lining up. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Looking good. Okay, as you can see, these bolts come out the bag. They look a little shiny. It might just be that black oxide coating, but I like to personally use brake cleaner on anything that I'm about to put Loctite on, because if they do have oil on them, it will react with the Loctite in a bad way. And then over here, torque wrench set to 25 foot-pounds with a 6mm Allen head on it. So let's get these cleaned. And we'll dry them off, apply a red Loctite, and then get them torqued. One more thing to note is that balancer, the pulley itself, is actually just sitting on the crank hub right now with no bolts in it. I believe it's like a machine fit, and the belts are holding tension on it, and as long as you didn't actually pry it off, I don't believe it could ever come off. One of the other 4 members said that. Of course, the way he did it, he removed a bunch of stuff from up top. I wouldn't recommend that. This is by far the easiest way. I was thinking it's gonna be a lot more work than it was. This is very straightforward, but yeah, leave the belts on and under tension. Who would have thought? Okay, so we have everything installed up top. Take your torque wrench, and luckily the length of this torque wrench right here is enough to be flush with the front of your pulley, and that way you can easily clearance everything that you need to clear to turn your wrench. If I can actually get it, it's all blind. Once you get used to working completely blind, this job actually isn't too bad. So I'm going to tighten this the same as if I was putting the wheel on a car. It's an 8-bolt lug pattern, and we are going to do a star pattern. Okay, again, use 2 hands. Now we can actually start getting to the torque. And again, with the torque wrench, it's kind of hard because now you're torquing everything down. You have to get a few little turns to get them into the actual tension. And again, star pattern. Okay, everything's torqued down, and now we're going to take our cell phone and get some footage of what it looks like with all the bolts in. Alright guys, so at this point you're literally just going to reinstall all of your skid plates in the reverse order. Don't forget about putting your little fan shroud back on right here. But that pretty much does it for this video. The car is new to me, and there's a few mods that I want to do to it, and plenty of new content will be coming out. So if you like it, hit that like button, subscribe, and thanks for watching guys.